I pray to God they get to the bottom of it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And the
Hold on a
voters
minute.
aren't the only ones who feel duped. You feel like you were taken advantage of?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really do. And they made it seem like
Watching this, good morning. I'm your host, BKP, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Watching this story here in North Carolina unfold. You would think, concerning these absentee ballots, you would think, the media would put as much time into Orange County, California, Broward County, Florida, Gwinnett County, Georgia, DeKalb, whatever. But so up here, I mean, the media looking for that corruption in elections in North Carolina. Elections is something that just will not go away, will it? Democrats' new game plan in elections: never stop until you win. Never stop until you turn the results around. Never stop until you win. Do not concede. Do not admit defeat, that you've lost. And so let's change directions here. It's Thursday. That means it's Carla's Corner. 12/6/2018. And baby, it is cold outside. Is that against the law now? The radio station, right? I really should go, right? Baby, it's cold outside, right? Is that against the law? Radio station pulled it. Now, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the whole bully symbol thing, that's bad. Real bad. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. Rudolph, bad. Charlie Brown, bad. Baby, it's cold outside, bad. Oh. Well, there you go. If you'd like to contact the show, 706-889-9700, chief at FetcherNews.com. And there's all the ways to follow us on social media. Now, there is a lot going on and a lot to filter through and a lot of speculation and gossip. We will go through everything today and try to get an updated status for you. A lot of people, if you will Google around the world, wherever you're watching today, what country you're in, whatever state you're in, if you're watching today, or if you've been watching Atlanta News, FetcherNews.com. We put this up yesterday. 2 days ago we put it up. Yesterday we put up the arrest report. And this morning at 10:30, Blake Dickey, Blake Dickey, a.k.a. Blake Dye, 15 years old, and Hunter Hill, 15 years old. But let me just say this. They have released the pictures. They are being kept right now at the Albert Shaw Regional Detention Center, Youth Detention Center, but they will be tried as adults. We can put the picture up. We're getting messages. So the Atlanta News and everybody, if law enforcement sends us, let me just clear up to you so people understand out there about the juveniles in the state of Georgia. And if law enforcement chooses to arrest them, book them, okay, on charges, which would be the district attorney there, book them on charges, put them through superior court, okay? That means they're being tried as adults, and the comments that we're getting, and probably other media getting, that we're not allowed to post their picture is nonsense, okay? So let's get that clear. Those are the rules. If it's juvenile and it's going to be handled through juvenile court and it's going to be handled as a juvenile crime, they will never be arraigned and marched through superior court. They'll never see the day of a superior court, okay? They'll have a juvenile judge. We have a court for juveniles, all right? They will not go through the superior court system. They will not be booked, fingerprinted, and put through the legal system as far as arrested at your sheriff's office, booked, photographed, and so forth. They would not be. So it's a pretty simple rule of thumb. If law enforcement sends us a booking report, it's what it's called, and the pictures are there, that means they're being processed through superior court. That's the big boy court, the big girl court, and they're being processed as adults and will be tried as adults. That's, you know, it doesn't quote say it there, but that's how, for those that question, that we can, and the other Atlanta media and others out there can post 15-year-old pictures, arrest pictures of these two kids, which murdered somebody. Now, Blake Dye, a.k.a. Blake Dye, and Hunter Hill, 15 years old, both of Blairsville, Georgia, for the murder of Justin McKinney, 33, of Morganton. Now, McKinney supposedly was a drug dealer. They murdered him. Supposedly these two kids, now there's a driver, they're only 15. So there's a third arrest that I'm not aware if it's taken place yet, but there should have been, or will be a third arrest to take place, as the driver, my understanding, should be a third arrest coming. And also there's a lot more to this story. Supposedly Justin McKinney is a drug dealer, was a drug dealer. Supposedly one of these brothers, one of these guys' brother the night before, this is according to a lot of chatter right now, the night before had purchased some drugs from Justin McKinney, and in doing that, purchasing the drugs, overdosed, got a bad dose, and these two were going back to avenge the brother. So we don't know about the overdose. We don't know what the status is of the individual there, but supposedly they were going back to avenge the brother for McKinney selling them bad drugs. Now, a lot of that, I want to be very clear, look in the camera, we got to tie together. A lot of that is chatter that is not being released at this time from GBI. If you go to fetchyournews.com and you see fatal shooting in Fannin County, you'll see all the GBI, you'll see the booking report, and you'll see the GBI statement, and so forth. But right now, a lot of this is not being released by the GBI or confirmed, just what we're picking up in the chatter and sources that have contacted FYN. Now, moving right along, both of these guys will be standing before a Superior Court judge in Fannin County at 10:30 this morning and be asked if they have attorneys, looking for attorneys, understand the charges. So I guess what's that called, being arraigned or whatever. But they will be in court, both of these guys, at 10:30 this morning, and we will be there. FYNTV will be there. So that's a little update. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, two 15-year-old kids went to a home of Justin McKinney and shot and murdered him. That would be Blake Dickey and Hunter Hill. They're 15-year-old kids, and wounded the wife, I think it is. Let's see, approximately shot and fatally took place Tuesday morning, and wounded the female was taken to the hospital with trauma care treatment when the deputies arrived at the home area of Elrod Lane in Morganton, and I'm looking for the female's name. Had it here earlier. Josh was looking at it. I'll find it here in just a second. Anna Franklin. I'm sorry, it doesn't. The male is McKinney. He's dead, and the female that was at the home, Anna Franklin, 35, of Morganton, was taken to the hospital for treatment. So a lot more developing on this murder case surrounding drugs. Surrounding drugs, okay? Drugs being sold to kids. There's so much we have to unpack, as they say, in this story. I mean, we're discussing 15-year-old kids going to a home of a 33-year-old drug dealer, Justin McKinney, dealing drugs to kids. Okay? Now, here is what I have to say in all due respect to law enforcement, and make sure I'm very clear on this, and I do not want any law enforcement to get what I'm about to say wrong. But it seems to be there's enough chatter from these kids on social media on what happened, who is whose girlfriend, who is whose sister, what really happened. It's all out there, the chatter on the social media. But it seems to be there's not enough information to get to McKinney's house before 15-year-old kids are sold drugs, before somebody is dead, and before 15-year-old kids are going before the judge. What if? What if law enforcement was responding, okay, before and not responding to a call that came in? Now, you know, the friends, many of the men and women and law enforcement and Fannin County Drug Task Force, all of you out there, you're dear friends, you're good people, you're hard workers. But I'm just going to look in the camera and say, let's just look at this case for what it is. 33-year-old man, drug dealer, well known to children, damn it, are buying drugs. And we missed it. We got to get on top of this, folks. It must get better in North Georgia with the drug situation. We need to clean them out. All right, so I didn't intend to say that. Josh, have you been here long enough to pick up when I didn't intend to say something and I just do it? So, huh? You understand where I'm coming from? I mean, I'm sitting here doing a story about a 33-year-old man selling drugs to kids, and the kid got a bad drug, OD'd, and other kids go back to avenge the kid that got a bad drug, and someone is dead. A man selling drugs to kids. All right, I got to move on. I could go on all day with this, and hell. And Democrats, how's that got to do with Democrats? They could care less what the hell comes across that border. They don't give a rat's patootie what comes across that border. Could care less. All right, let's move along here. Let's move along. Nothing to see. Other than, hold on, I have my pictures up here. Let's go with number, where's it at there? I had it here somewhere, Josh. Give me number 10. Okay, number 10 is the funeral train. 70 miles. I can't remember. I looked at the history this morning, but I just got worked up on the whole drug murder thing there in Fannin County this morning. But the funeral train there will go Presidential Library Museum, George Bush, 70-some miles with George H. Bush. And then today, farewell to a president. This was 4 a.m. Central Time in Houston. Give me picture number 1. So they are allowing the public in Houston to come through and come through. Number 1, please, come through and visit, pay their respects one last time to farewell to the president. Did it freeze up or something? Okay, no problem. I understand. Number 1. All right. When it froze up, could you double check and make sure it's still broadcasting? Because the other... All right. Okay. All right. Just froze up the picture. All right. There we go. Farewell to the president of the H.W. Bush there in Houston. And that'll be today. And the media absolutely loved this picture. The media, this meant everything to them. Give me number 9. Number 9. Tension as first families honored George H. Bush. And we noticed that the president came in and sat down. And because they were next to him, shook Obama's hand. They put the presidents in order. Okay, there's Clinton, and there's wannabe Hillary. I want to be president. I should be up here. I should be sitting right here as one of the presidents. I should be sitting on the end. And there's Carter and Rosalind from Georgia, so it's in the order there. Now, let me ask you a question. There's a couple things. Now, Monday, remember I told you that they were on Trump watch. And I'm telling you, you don't have to believe this if you don't want to. But there was a team from all the left media that was watching every move of Donald J. Trump's to see when he would break and not be presidential during this time. I mean, they were waiting to write about him during this time of how he could not hold it together. He couldn't even be presidential for 4 days. My question is it over? I mean, because today they're having the funeral in D.C., I mean, in Houston, can Trump now go back to being Trump, or does he continue having to act presidential for the media? But they've watched him for 4 days, waiting for him to crack. Yesterday, the tensions. That's all they could talk about. Now, I think Rush said this. I do not know. I did not listen. It's going around social media. Some people have picked it up. And I must agree, so I want to repeat it this morning from many that I've read on the internet, and I don't know who said it first, but don't you find it interesting how the media loves a dead Republican? I mean, they absolutely love a Republican if they're dead and gone, all right? George H.W. Bush, and we'll get into next week some of the other side of this president that was not discussed this week. We're showing our respect here as a unified country this week, hopefully, with the exception of the media. But, you know, when George H. Bush looked at the camera and he looked at the American people and said, "Read my lips, no new taxes," all right? And they came to him and sat down, and they came to him, and let's get yesterday, Al Simpson. What number is he? I'm going to get to him right now, folks. Trying to get there. Give me number. I should have it in a second here. Give me number 20. This is former Senator Alan Simpson, a friend of George H. Bush. Yesterday, Brian Mahoney, the former Prime Minister of Canada, Meacham, I forget his first name, and George W., President George W., and Alan Simpson eulogized the president yesterday. It's some good moments. I enjoyed what they had to say. I enjoyed hearing them. But when he said the words, "Read my lips, no new taxes," okay? Read my lips, no new taxes. And they came in the office, we'll just put it together here, and they had this great deal, and they had to cut this and up this and adjust this. But, Mr. President, this is not going to be done without some new revenue. Now, what a lot of people did not talk about this week was the SNL scandal, the collapse, okay? The SNL scandal that took place, all right, when George H. Bush was president of the United States, that had to be dealt with, the SNL crisis in this country, which had to be dealt with, and we bailed them out, and we were bailing out people left and right and doing things. Don't forget that. Do a little research on SNL scandal. And at that time, they come in and they say, "Hey, Mr. President, you know, the Democrats, we got to do this. We'll get it through, and this will be good. This will be good for America. It will put the country on a solid financial footing. It will turn the economy around. It'll get some things behind us, past us, whatever the case may be." And you would think after that the Democrats would have come out and campaigned for him. You would think after that the Democrats would have came out and said, "This is the greatest president. We don't want to take a chance, okay? We want George H.W. Bush for a second term." But no, the minute they left the room, and let's go to number one. I think number one is the one I'm looking for right now. Let's go back to number 1. The minute they left the room, farewell to a president, that's when they said farewell to the president, the Democrats. So the real Democrat farewell to a president was the day they left the room after convincing the guy to sign on to new taxes. Farewell to a president. So the only thing I'm going to say, America, if you can get these words to your Republican friends, okay, if you can get these words to your Republican congressman, if you can get these words to your Republican senator and your Republican president of the United States, just grab that farewell to a president and write that down. Farewell to a president. Because on that day, Republicans will be well liked. Okay? Republicans will be well thought of. Republicans will be remembered for the great people that they were on that day by Democrats. And farewell to a president. Democrats will wish you farewell the minute they leave your office door and walk out, because they will not acknowledge how great the decision is you just made. They will not acknowledge how well you negotiated that package or this or that. They will not acknowledge any of that. They will walk out that door and it will be farewell to you immediately. So farewell to a president. Just write that down, Republicans. Please write that down. Now, it's 8:22. It's almost time for Carlin's Corner. There's a couple things I want to go over. Let's go to number 3. Senate panel delays judicial picks amid Mueller standoff. There's Jeff Flake. Jeff Flake, Republican of Arizona, that is retired, that is going home. He's only got 3 weeks to work, live and play at the Washington, D.C. Capitol there. Okay. And he is making the most of it. He is wanting a protection bill for the special counsel, Robert Mueller. We do not know his reasoning, but we cannot get any true reasoning why he needs a protection bill for Robert Mueller to the floor. Now, Flake, for what you call him the names, you know, we know all the names that he's been called, and we've called him those names right here. We also want to say that Flake, Jeff Flake, knows what he's proposing on the floor is unconstitutional. Okay? He knows that. Jeff Flake knows once what he proposes goes to the floor, the protection piece of legislation for Bob Mueller goes to the floor, is voted on, the president will veto it. But Flake knows every minute he stands in front of the cameras, okay, that what he's proposing is unconstitutional. But he is on the Senate Judicial Committee, which approves or recommends judges to the Senate. That's the process. He will not. He is holding up a couple dozen judges, the appointment of a couple dozen judges. Okay. Number 4. Okay, give me number 4. Grassley blinks. Okay. Grassley blinks in battle with Flake. Postpones Thursday hearing on judicial nominees. So Grassley's postponing it. He's the chair. What does Grassley... Why do I want to bring this story up? Because yesterday, I know you could say, well, I got it wrong on plead the 5th, but I didn't get it wrong. The point I wanted to make was Roger Stone can just ignore this committee from the ranking side, Dianne Feinstein side. He can just say, look, my 5th Amendment says, you know, I'm going to plead the 5th Amendment. I don't have to speak to you, okay? I don't have to incriminate myself. I don't have to send you nothing because you're powerless. So what Roger Stone did yesterday to Dianne Feinstein, which she released, which the media love for a day. They love a story for a day, and they'll get back to it, but they released pleading the 5th. Okay? They did not have the power. See, the Judicial Committee, Grassley had the power. So you didn't see yesterday Grassley come out and say, we're trying to get Roger Stone to come before this committee, and he will not. And that's all I'm saying, because I tried to make the parallel, is over in the House Judicial Committee, okay, in about 4 weeks, they will be as powerless as Dianne Feinstein is with Roger Stone. I just wanted to share that yesterday. And then number 5, here is a tweet from Jeff Flakes. The Senate needs to protect the special counsel. Why? I don't know. Let me get to one, because we're going to do it we're going to do this one at 9 o'clock. I want to talk about it just a little more, okay? Let's go with number 16. And I'll tell you what, if you could tell me, I need your help out there, if you could tell me why Khashoggi's murder is that important. Now stay with me. There at no time is murder okay. Why is Khashoggi's murder that important to these senators? Why is this such a big deal? Is this the area that Republicans can help Democrats push back on Trump all of a sudden? I don't know. But don't you wish senators push for a deal targeting Saudi Arabia? Don't you wish? Now this is Khashoggi. Give me, I gotta go here. It's time for Carla's Corner. But give me number 18. Okay. If you look at number 18, there's Khashoggi. He is not an American citizen. He's an American resident. He is a contributor to the Washington Post. He is a citizen from Saudi Arabia. And we know the story went into the consulate at Istanbul, I think, to finalize some paperwork with the Saudi Arabian government for his wife to be or something. I'm not for sure. And he doesn't come out alive. Simple as that. Do you not wish out there, this is not an American citizen, do you not wish out there that the same pressure would have been put on Saudi Arabia, the same senators, the same look into would have been handled this way after 9/11 and the Saudis' involvement in 9/11, and now all of a sudden we've got a prince that allegedly killed a guy? Interesting. I'm your host, BKP. It's time for Carla's Corner. Let's talk about all of that when we come back at 9 o'clock. But right after these messages, I'm going to invite my friend Carla in here, see what's going on with her. Take us a break, Josh.